In one of his farewell speeches at the end of his life in the book of Deuteronomy, Moses reminds us of the manna, the miraculous bread that sustained the Israelites during their 40 years in the wilderness. If you pay close attention, you'll notice something curious. The Torah cannot seem to decide what the manna tasted like. In Shmot, in the book of Exodus, it is described as tasting like wafers made with honey. In Bamidbar, the book of Numbers, we are told it tasted like cakes baked with oil. So, which was it? Honey or oil? Sweet or savory? The rabbis looked at these descriptions and concluded that neither answer was complete. The manna, they taught, tasted different to different people. Each person experienced the same heavenly gift according to what they needed. For one, it tasted like fresh bread. For others, perhaps it tasted like fruit. To a child, maybe something sweet, and for an older person, perhaps something gentle and comforting. It was one gift with many experiences. And that is a remarkable way to think about the Torah and Revelation itself. The rabbis could have explained the contradiction in simpler ways. They could have said the manna changed over time, or that the Torah was simply using poetic language. Instead, they imagined something much more beautiful. God did not erase people's individuality, even in a miracle shared by an entire nation. There was room for each person's uniqueness. God fed an entire people without making everyone the same. And I wonder if that is still how God works. We often imagine that faith should look identical for everyone. We ask questions like, what is the correct way to pray? Or what is the right way to experience God? We sometimes assume that if two people read the same Bible portion, or attend the same service, or celebrate the same holiday, they ought to come away with the same thoughts and feelings. But that has never really been Judaism. Think about going to services in a synagogue. Some people go and are seeking comfort because they lost someone they love. Others go to celebrate a birth or an anniversary or a joyous moment. Some arrive filled with gratitude. Others come to synagogue carrying doubts they never have voiced out loud. Some hear the words of our prayers and are overwhelmed with emotion. Or someone sitting 2 rows behind them quietly wonders whether they believe any of it at all. And both are there. Both belong. Both are standing before the same Torah and the same God. The Talmud teaches, just as no two faces are alike, no two minds are alike. That's from the Jerusalem Talmud. And diversity is not an obstacle to Jewish life. It is part of the way God created humanity. Perhaps that is why the Torah has generated so many interpretations across the centuries. If God had wanted only one way to understand every verse, Judaism would have ended with Moses. Instead, we have Rashi and Ibn Ezra, Ramban and Maimonides, Sforno, the Hasidic master, modern scholars, Sephardic traditions, Ashkenazi traditions. Every generation continues the conversation. The Torah remains one. Our encounters with it are many, many. There is another lesson hidden in this story. The manna could not be stored. Each morning, people had to gather it again. Yesterday's bread could not sustain today's hunger. And the same is true of Torah. The insight that nourished you 20 years ago may not be the same one you need today. A verse that once seemed ordinary suddenly speaks with astonishing clarity after the birth of a child, or after retirement, after illness or grief. Has the Torah changed? No, but you have. The same words now meet a different soul. Just as the manna tasted different because the people had changed, the Torah continues to reveal new flavors as we grow. That may be one of the reasons we never finish studying Torah. Every year we return to these same portions, the same stories, the same commandments, the same blessings. Yet somehow they refuse to remain the same. Not because the text has changed, but because we have. Martin Buber once wrote that every genuine encounter changes both the one who speaks and the one who listens. Every time we approach Torah honestly, we bring a new version of ourselves to the conversation. Perhaps this is also a lesson about community. If the manna truly tasted different to each person, then no Israelite could tell another, "No, you're tasting it wrong." Imagine that conversation. "It tastes like honey." No. It tastes like fresh bread. It tastes like olives. No, it tastes like figs. Who was right? All of them. The miracle was not uniformity, but that one gift was spacious enough to nourish everyone according to their needs. Wouldn't it be wonderful if our synagogues and our communities reflected that same wisdom? There should be room for those who love silence and those who sing loudly. A room for lifelong scholars and people opening prayer books or other texts for the first time. A space for certainty and a space for questions, for those who find God in ancient Hebrew words and those who find God while listening to music, sharing a meal during Kiddush, or comforting a friend. One Torah, many journeys. So now, as we read about the manna, perhaps we should ask ourselves not only, what did it taste like? But also, what is God trying to feed me today? Because the answer may not be the same as it was last year or even yesterday. The gift is still falling. The question is whether we are willing to taste it again with fresh hearts.